way we approached it is that we didn't have a record contract. It felt like the first, for the first, I don't know, been under contract since I was 22 years old. And it was the first time that I felt like I did, like I felt like we did when we wrote the first record. It was like there was no rush, no deadlines, no one breathing over your shoulder. You know what I mean? It was like we're just doing it for just having fun. You know what I mean? Just putting songs together and not really thinking of the future of it or anything, but just the present. Enjoying what we were putting together. You know what I mean? It was kind of like no hassle, no pressure, no. You know what I mean? It's like it's like kind of like freedom with it.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Glenn Benton of Defied. How are you doing today, man?
Good, buddy.
Good, man. So we're up to our 13th record. What's the writing process for you and Steve been like? How's it changed, or because I'm guessing you guys do a majority of the writing nowadays.
Well, we split it up amongst each other, and that I let everybody write the equal amount of songs. So we wrote 3 songs on this record. Same as the last record, we all split that up. That other people write, So, but we wrote all the songs. The 3 of us wrote all the songs for overtures, and then Taylor wrote 3. I wrote 3. Steve wrote 3. Kevin wrote 3 for the new one.
Cool, man. That's nice that everybody gives everybody, doesn't give anybody that burnout feeling, like too much pressure. You have to write a whole 10, 12 songs and you're like, oh crap.
Well, everybody, it gives the album a different, I mean, if just the same old person keeps writing everything, it kind of just runs it, it's one dimensional. So having 4 different individuals and their style of writing, it gives the record texture, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. So this is the first record since the pandemic. Was any of this started before then, or just all after that?
Well, our record deal had ended with the last record with Sony and Century Media. When the whole COVID thing hit, we were just getting ready to go down South America and do all that, and it kind of just put up kind of just stopped everybody in their tracks, including us. And so we just took that time to work on the Legion set and to write the songs at our leisure, and that's pretty much what we did. And we had the record. The record's been done for almost a year now. So
yeah, I guess because of the big time gap, it kind of makes it in a way feel like, oh, you're back to your first time, like that first record. Like, oh, you have all the time to write your first record, and after that, it's that almost 2-year cycle for almost everybody.
Well, me and Steve decided that we're just going to get the record, written and ready, so it would be easier to shop it to a record company, and get the deal that we wanted, which was a 1-album deal. And we got video money and everything and that. So it's turned out well, man.
Yeah, and I see you guys were back at Audio Hammer. I feel like they're becoming your new Mars Sounds recording.
No, dude, we didn't do that. We did it up the street from my house here in Jeramie Kling's house.
Oh, it's all that. Okay.
We recorded at Jeramie and Taylor's studio up the street from my house. So the whole Audio Hammer thing. Jason's great people, Ron. They're all great people. And it's for us. It's a really long drive to go over there and to work with them. And by the time you drive 3 hours over there, and you get there, and you fuck around and this, that, and the other, half the day's fucking gone. And it kind of just takes I don't know, man, how to describe it, but then you have 3-hour drive home, and it makes doing a record really painful. You know what I mean? So. We wanted to do something different this time and a different approach and try something different and shoot for more of an old school, I don't want to say, it's kind of like a demo approach to things and that, instead of big, huge production, and just keeping, playing out of actual speakers and playing out of actual amplifiers and not letting all these, Pro Tool plugins do all the work for us, and, actually, singing through all the lyrics, not just, cutting and pasting and shit. And then with the drums too, we went with a more natural drum sound instead of a sampled sound. So it gives it more of a live sound, because Jeramie's our sound man too, and so he knows our sound. So that's why it sounds the way it does, man. It's just
Yeah, like I know Jeramie, he's a great drummer in his own right too, and I've seen him produce. I've seen him with other bands doing like live sound. So like, what drew you to working with Jeramie?
well, me and him are friends, man. We live up the street from each other, and me and him rode bike and go mountain biking all the time and shit. So I mean, it was kind of one of those things where Jeramie was like, because Steve was the one who we had to convince, because Steve, he likes driving all the way over there and doing all that. I really personally just like to get to work early in the morning and do what I did, and then being able to do it how I did it. I mean, I live literally up the street from his house, and I was able to go and do one song a day vocally, so I had that same intensity every day. You know what I mean? Each song, So there was a lot of things I was able to do because of the convenience of it being right up the street from my house, where I could. It really truly changed the dynamic of everything.
Nice, nice. So I'm guessing because of the whole Jeramie connection, that's how Taylor came to join the band. Because last time I saw you guys, you had Chris.
Well, Chris, like I say, man, Chris is really a very busy individual, and it's just too much on his plate, man, as it is. You know what I mean? So we needed somebody that could be a little more flexible. And Taylor really just fits the bill, man. You know what I mean? He's like he's the missing link for us,
Yeah, because I feel like Kevin's been the guy for like what 5 records, and he's been holding it down for a good while.
I mean, with Kevin and Taylor, Steve, and myself, man, we had the most solemnest lineup ever in the history of this band, and we have a great team of people working for us, man. From Jeramie to our agent Steph, to our agent Mike in Europe, um, to our tour manager Nick, and I mean, we just really have a really really sound team now, man.
Yeah, I gotta say, I just gotta shout out Kevin and Taylor. It's like some of their solos, like their solos are in their what's the word? I forgot the word. Just those guitar bends, those guitar squeals, man. I was like, this record just starts off. This record just starts with like an excitement for me. It's like, oh, it just makes you smile. Like, oh yeah, you're in the deicide. It just gets you that, like, yeah, all right, I'm ready for this. Let's go.
Yeah, as soon as it starts with the beginning of Taylor's song from Unknown Heights You Shall Fall, it's kind of like when you hear that beginning, that it's
Yeah.
on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So and then like I say, man, we had a great time doing. Everybody did a fucking phenomenal job on this record, man. And Josh Wilbur completing the circle with the mix and the mastering, because the record was really, man, what we were going how we approached it is that we were going to get some test mixes from some of the different guys doing this shit. And I got a few samples back, and the way it was for me, it was like, it sounded amazing just in the rough, just the fucking rough tracks, man, before mix and mastering or anything. It sounded fucking amazing, and we used very little compression when we recorded this record. So that's why it sounds the way it does, is that we didn't over compress it. And when I told, Josh, when Josh started to work on it, and that, I explained to him, I really just, if you can't make it better than what it is already, then don't fucking touch it. You know what I mean? And Josh was able to do what we needed done without burying it with compression. And he got where we were coming from on the whole thing. It really worked out well, man. It really did. Timing with everything.
Yeah, I'll agree to that because it's like it sounds great on a sound system, and it also sounds really great in headphones. So I was like, all right, like I can hear you. I was like, I hear that bass. That to me, like a lot of times, especially with death metal, sometimes that bass gets lost, but your bass stands out because you're kind of like, I'm a drummer, so it's like you just sound very more clean sounding. You just sound clean and like heavy.
You know what? It has to do with a lot of things, man. There's a lot of variables when it comes to my bass nowadays, and like previous recordings and that. They wanted me to play through plugins and shit, and play through a Sans amp rack and shit and stuff like that. Outboard gear in a studio, instead of actually playing through an amplifier, through speakers through microphones. You know what I mean? So that has a lot to do with it. The fact that I'm back with Meza Boogie, and I, like I say, man, I've been graced by Fender, with some really nice custom stuff, and like I say, man, I used the Devil's Pitchfork on this record, and it just, I mean, we mic'd my rig with Newman microphones, and we ran direct into the Sands amp. We set my rig up just like I would on stage, and then we mic'd everything, double mic'd everything, and ran inputs in and out. And yeah, man, and with those pickups, those master built pickups in my guitar, man, I mean, it just sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's nice to hear, like, I guess, like the musical recording progression it has from your first record to now. It's almost close for you. It's almost like back to the basic. It's almost like back to like the raw recording of, like, here's some mics versus like the whole middle era of your of the.
I would always get buried in previous recordings. I always got buried with compression. They over compress it before we even get done with it, and then they take it to mix and mastering and compress the shit out of it. And then by that time, you can't even hear me. Like, I'm not even there.
Yeah, so like in a perfect world, would there ever be like remixings of remasterings of these records where less compression?
We're really just right now we're talking about the possibility of maybe re-recording some of the earlier stuff.
Oh, with this lineup, that would be sick.
That's what we're talking. That's what we're thinking about doing. We're just looking into the legalities of it right now. So that's all.
Understood. Yeah, I'm guessing certain former members and you guys still are not on speaking terms.
I haven't spoken to those morons in over 20 years.
Oh, that's a shame. Because weren't you guys like school friends or something? I love the video for "Sever the Tongue." It's hilarious. It's just fun. It's like I've worked with Dave Brodsky and Ali before, so I just want to know what made you want to work with them. I know you guys did the Bury the Cross video as well.
Well, Kevin worked with them doing Cataclysm's video, and like I say, man, everybody have nothing but great things to say about them, and they do a lot of work with everybody, so it was fun, man. We had a good time. Got to go hang out in the Poconos and shoot some videos. Got another video coming. The third video should be coming here anytime now. And yeah, man, we had a good time. It was fun. We had a really fun time, man. Like Bury the Cross, it's like your typical party metal song, and then you have when everybody was like scratching their heads trying to figure out where this is all fucking going, then we dropped Sever the Tongue on them.
Yeah, on was it an Ash Wednesday? Beautiful, brilliant.
Yeah, and like you say, man, the next one's coming too. Probably not exactly what holiday it is, but yeah. I was told it's supposed to drop when the new album drops, but I don't know. They're talking about doing lyric videos to all the songs, So.
I mean, that's a thing that it keeps the album like going. Once the album's like been out for a while, it's like, oh, cool. You're not, if you're touring or not touring, it kind of keeps the name out there. If you like put like a lyric video out like every month or something, it's like that keeps that record just in people's mouths for like the whole year.
I mean, you've heard the record from start to finish, right?
Oh yeah.
What do you think? I mean, the more that you listen to it, the more that shit sticks. You know what I mean? It's like one of those kind of records where it's like from day to day, you have a different song that's in your head.
It's like I'm a big fan of sequencing, and I think it's a very well sequenced record. Like it doesn't bore me, and that's the one thing I realize a lot of times with some records. It's like it's too front heavy with a certain style, and it's like you guys mix it. It's a nice wave for you guys. It's a wave of heavy. Some are extremely heavy. Some are less like fast. But it's a good mix, and I really appreciate the sequencing.
Right. Well, yeah, man, that's part of the fucking job, man. It's when we do these things, I mean, it's like, okay, time for tracking. All right, let's all throw up our suggestions for a track, tracking on the record,
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, like at this point, what you have like over like 100? Yeah, you guys have over 100 songs you've written. That's bananas. Like, are there songs like now that you're just like, I don't want to play these songs again? These songs have served their time.
Oh shit, there's a lot. There's a lot of those, but you know what? We're bringing back a few songs from the few songs that we haven't played in a while, and that's for this Philadelphia Beer Festival thing. And yeah, it's, I mean, it's kind of fun, you know. I mean, to like come back and you know relearn some shit. I used to, you know, I used to dread it, you know, and now that it's like, I guess maybe because I'm a better player or whatever, you know, it might be today, you know what I mean. But it's always fun, you know, to come back and revisit some of that stuff because you're like, wow, man, shit that probably, you know, you thought there was a level of, you know, degree of difficulty back then. It's not existent now.
Yeah. Like sometimes it's easier to write it, pull it off in a studio than it is to pull it off live. And you're like, oh man.
Yeah, well, back then, you know, it's like when you're under pressure to learn this shit. You know what I mean? When it's not like you're not under anybody's, you know, pressure to learn stuff. You know what I mean? It's and you're like learning it for fun. Cause man, for me now, man, it's all fun, man. You know, I ain't got no, you know, I ain't got no responsibilities or family or shit or anything, man. So I just do this for the fucking shits and giggles, man.
I get that, man. Do you ever feel like with your lyrics, your approach to writing songs and everything, do you ever feel like you want to branch out to do like other topics, or do you feel like I just got to stay in this realm that works best with this band? You know, I guess you're gonna write a hot rod song.
That's probably the most frequently asked question of myself.
Oh, damn it!
I have to say this, man. That when it comes to writing this, what I do, if I have to think about it or try to direct my thoughts, I get a mental block. So when I sit down to write, usually how I write is I wake up in the morning, I make a cup of coffee, I get my vaporizer, crush up some weed, put it in my vaporizer, get really fucking, you know, high, and then go in front of my Mac and fucking headphones on and start growling shit out. And what comes out of me is what comes out of me. If I have to force it or in any way try to direct it, it just doesn't work for me. And then it all just falls. Once the lyrics are all there, it just all falls together for me. And then I just come back and just, you know, do a rewrite on it, and that's what it is. And like I say, man, I would like to, you know, maybe I just don't, man. Like, you know how, you know, certain people sing about certain things. It's just who they are and spiritually, or how the universe wants you to, you know. I think it's like I let like the universe speak through me or whatever. Whoever it is that puts these words through my mind. I don't know. Like I said, I just don't. I don't argue with them. I just accept it as a gift, and I write it down. You know. And it's weird, man, but like I say, if I, like Chuck Berry sang about high schools and chicks and cars and shit like that, that was his thing. He couldn't sing about anything else, you know what I mean? That was just him, you know what I mean? Just like certain singers sing about love songs and that's all they know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just what it is, you know, and I just can't, if I try to put my finger on it, I might lose the gift, you know what I mean? So I kind of just like, I sit down and I just let what comes out of me. And then the next thing you know, I got the next line that comes out of me rhymes with that line and I write it down, or, you know, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. You'd think that I would have tired by now at my age, man. You think I would have ran out of shit, but I don't know. It's just part of who I am, man. So.
It's impressive. I gotta say, it's like, yeah, it's impressive. It's like, oh yeah, you read some of the titles and it's like, that's a hilarious, not but comically funny. It's just like, that's a cool title. And it's
well,
just
you
like,
know what, man? I put a lot of work into fucking that kind of stuff. Not many people know that, and not many people still do that. You know, are that diligent with it. But I look up every title. I look up everything. You know, all that stuff. I look it all up. I look up titles to make sure I'm not copying somebody. We have apps and websites that we use in that to make sure that nobody else has these titles and shit. So we really are diligent when it comes to that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't want to mention names, but some guy, this blonde-haired guitar player that used to play in Judas Priest, he has a song called "Crucifixation" on his record, and I'm like, wow, somebody did not do their homework. So now, for the rest of their lives, they're going to have to go, oh, is that a D-side cover song? So hey, you know, however you want to approach it. You know?
Man, I just look at it like with all your like song titles, it's like, man, I wonder how many bands have like named themselves after one of your song titles.
There's several bands out there named after my song titles. There's a band Trifiction. There's a band Blast Furion. There's several of them, man.
Yeah, like you guys owe me a couple of quarters. Thank you very much. I,
Yeah.
I gotta say, dude, like your vocals, man, it's like you, I was like about 16 or so the first time I saw you, like at Coney Island High. And I was like, I just was I was like in my early days of getting into metal. I was like a thrash kid. That's all I knew was thrash. I knew like Megadeth. That's all I really knew. That was my gateway band. And then it's like, I just knew like Speed and stuff. And like, I forgot who else was playing with you guys that time. But I remember I was like, I heard you the first time and it didn't click. And I was like, what is this? Like, I didn't understand because I was used to a more cleaner vocal approach and I wasn't used to blast beats yet. So like, I remember I was like, wow, that was a one show. I was like, I didn't like it. And then like, I saw you again, like it did not catch me at first, man. And then by the time like I heard Obituary like a year, a couple months later, I was like, oh, wait a minute. All right. I kind of get this. Is kind of cool. And then like I slowly came back around and I think there was like maybe Serpents of the Light, between Serpents of the Light and Incinerate Him era is like when I saw you again and I was like, okay, like I'm digging this. And I've been a fan of like your growl is not just a mumble. Like some people just like are just like mumbling. It's like you have a way of enunciating, and I appreciate your enunciation.
I sing from my diaphragm too, man. People don't realize that, but only use my throat to create tone. But I push from my diaphragm. I'm like, actually, man. I mean, like I say, man, I have an operatic voice, and that. I mean, I can really do things with my voice that people probably don't even realize. But that's why I'm able to change from low to high, high to low to mids, and I can jump all over the spectrum when it comes to my voice.
Your high is just, like, yeah, man, you got some, I don't know, it's like, they're just fun. They're like happy, not happy, but they're like you just got that voice. It's like, yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah. It's like, it's like, I like the appreciation, like, of your vocal range. It's a thing, man. I gotta say, I wanted to.
The song "Woke from God" on the new one. Those parts those are like continuous screams. Those ain't like pieced together screams. That's like me holding out a entire scream, that whole entire part. So that part is an actual one scream from start to finish. That's how long I hold that scream.
That is impressive. There's a lot of people that you could, you could cut and paste that together. Shit, nowadays you probably could. Damn it.
Yeah, well, like I say, there's a couple different tracks and just me doing that one long scream. I mean, even Taylor and Jeramie were a little taken back by it, that I was able to hold that out, like that terrifying shriek for that long.
Yeah, shoot, like that'll be kind of interesting to see. Yeah, I know, like recording is one thing, live, I'm sure you'll probably get close to it. I don't know, like, hey,
we were practicing "Woke from God" yesterday, and it's with the three of us all screaming that fucking part. It's terrifying as fuck sounding, man. I don't know why. I was like, wow, this actually, I mean, it sounds really heavy, man. Some of the, it's nice having two people that can do proper backups for me, and it's nice, man. You know what I mean? It's just, man, we have a really tight sound now, man.
Your sound, like, to me, it's like it's been a continuous evolution of, like, I won't say guitar players, but yeah, like, since the Jack Owen and the Ralph days, it's like that kind of like melodicness that they kind of brought into like the ugliness, and you guys were just like perfected it like now.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you say having Taylor in the band, okay, having a guitar player that I mean, there's guitar players that play from a book, and and then there's guitar players that play from their soul. And I got two guys now, man, that they play with feeling and they play from their soul. They don't play from instructional tapes and all the other things that people learn how. I mean, these guys are like seasoned professionals that they say, man, I have zero concerns now about the guitar situation in this band. It's like, and it's nice. I only took 36 years. But yeah, I mean, it's great, man.
Yeah, Tyler is awesome. I can't, like, I've heard him with In Human Condition. He's a beast.
Yeah, dude, he's just incredible, man. And he's like, and when you surround yourself with Kevin says this all the time, when you surround yourself with better players, you become a better player. You know.
And it's, yeah, speaking of that, it's like, it doesn't sound, it's like, you don't sound like you're going through the motions either, you know, like the record still has like a youthful energy to it.
We just didn't give a shit, man. You know, that's the whole thing. That's the whole key to this whole thing is not giving a shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, we didn't just, I mean, I don't have to make music to pay bills. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, my kids are all off into the world and shit. And I have no responsibilities to anybody. I'm not married or anything like that. So, like I say, man, I'm just doing this shit for the shits and giggles because what else is left? You know what I mean? It ain't like, you know, records are calling cards now, man. They're nothing more than a flyer on a car window, windshield. You know, I mean, you do a record, it's pretty much given away. You know,
Yeah.
so it's not like I mean, you make a little bit. I mean, I'm you know, my great grandkids would probably never see a royalty check from Sony. Put it to you that way. You know, I mean, it's that, you know, I mean, it's such a slow recovery, you know, as far as recouping and shit these days, you know. So it's just all for fun, man, for me.
Yeah.
I mean, your money's made on the road and, you know, through merchandise and shit like that.
Yeah, and hopefully this year, like hopefully a lot of those like merch cuts will go away.
Oh yeah, right.
That'd be nice, man, because it's like, come on, you guys get enough. They get enough. They don't need clubs.
Is that hard? You know what it is? It's like all these cheap pricks, man. Back in the day, they'd have to cough up $100 or a couple $100 for catering for the band, and that was their way of getting that money back. That's how it all started. You know what I mean? Because they had to kick out some catering money for the band. That way they figure, well, how the hell can we get that back? Oh shit, we'll take a percentage of the merchandise.
Because the bar is not enough. Go figure.
Yeah, that's why I have no problem, man. When we show up and we have to beg for water and we have to beg for this and shit, and then they show up at my merch booth at the end of the night and we play the old Blues Brothers trick. Hey, I got to go out and sign the traveler's check on the dashboard of my car, and then we just, you know, slip out the back door. Pretty famous for that, man. I don't want to give up all my trade secrets, but yeah, getting merchandise percentages out of me is like, yeah, like you might as well, shit, you better have a gun. Spike strips and a gun, man, because I'm going to try to make a run for it.
Like, yeah, he's over there. He's over here. He's in the bathroom. Okay, yeah, just wait by the bathroom. We'll be right out.
We do it. Like, hey, I gotta get my tour manager to get a hold of the merch guy, and they'll square up with you. And by the time that all happens, it's like we're in the next county over.
We'll mail it to you, I promise.
Do what? You know what? It's horrible, man. It's like they give you, like, you know, some of these places, you know, I mean, listen, I've been eating shit sandwiches for 36 years. I don't think I've ever considered myself reaching the big time on anything. And like I say, man, I don't mind playing small clubs and that, but some of them treat you really nice. And then there's the ones that just, you know, they treat you like fast food. And those are the ones that I have a problem with, man. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, what's it kill you to throw a little bit of a personal touch onto it just to make it, you know, I mean, it's like that old saying, man, please kiss me before you fuck me. You know what I mean? It's like, can you at least just do it with a smile on your face and treat everybody, you know, if you're going to fuck us at the end of the night, you know what I mean? Just,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, considering how much, like, you know, vans and hell, fucking buses cost, like, just to fill up in gas, it's like, come on now. You know, it's like, what, like these buses are like $700.
Yeah, it's funny. The only people's wage that hasn't gone up is ours.
Yeah.
The musicians, the bands, and that we're still working at the same money we were making 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, we've never got a raise. You know what I mean? Everything else with the inflation, everything gone up, the van rental, the gas, insurance, all that shit's gone up, but we still have to make it work with what we've always made. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I appreciate you. Like, I'm sure you've been jaded and bittered by some moments here and there, but I appreciate you still continuing.
Yeah, dude, you just gotta not give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's why you just have to. I'm at that ripe old age of I don't give a fuck, and I think it's just, you know, that's how it used to be when I was a kid. You know, when I was writing the early shit, and I think it shows in the music. You know, I mean, it's just got that kind of an attitude. You know?
Yeah, I get that, and like, yeah, I just got a few more for you before I let you go. I just wanted to touch on the like your live sets. Like, is there any chance we'll ever hear like the Roadrunner United song you did, like Annihilation by the Hands of God, with this current lineup of Deicide?
Oh, I didn't know that was something that people really wanted to hear, man. To be honest
I
with you.
enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Like I loved it. So like I know you're Roadrunner. You're not the biggest fan of that label, but I thought that was a nice song.
Listen, man, Roadrunner always treated me well. I never had a complaint with them, man. It was just one of those things where it's like, when you wear out your welcome somewhere, you know what I mean? We just wanted to move on.
Gotcha. Yeah, but
They
that's a song I like.
started, yeah, they started getting involved with more commercial sounding bands, and then we just got pushed to the back burner.
Yeah, they did. Like I remember there was a time where they swooped up every kind of mid. I don't know. Yeah, I guess like this like mid rock, hard rock band that was hard but not super hard. And then like one person blew up and they just forgot everybody else in the middle got forgotten about.
Hey, it is what it is, then, man, right? So, but yeah, I get a lot of requests for the some of the other stuff I've done, but not that one. I never heard anybody make that request.
Like for me, like I just thought it was just I just like enjoyed hearing you working with other musicians. It's always interesting. You always I feel like you always learn by playing with people outside of your circle. And I thought that was a nice for you that was kind of fun.
I wanted to do it live at the Kia Theater show. I wanted to do that, and for some reason, I don't know what the problem was, but they didn't want to do it. So
maybe they couldn't play it live.
I don't know. The Joey, it's like the song had changed a lot, man, from the original version that I wrote the lyrics to what they did to it. When they edited it and moved shit around, and so it was completely different than how I recorded and wrote the lyrics to it. Not many people know that.
Oh, interesting. So what is it?
I had altered it and rearranged some of the parts and shortened this and lengthened that and did this, did that. So, yeah, like I say, they moved shit all around and that. So I really, when I first listened to it the first time they had done it or finished it, and that I almost didn't recognize it from what it was originally. But like I told them, it's like, I mean, I'll do it, but I can't, I have to write what comes out of me when I listen to it. I mean, I can't promise you it's going to be, so that's what came out of me.
Oh, maybe I'll play the original version then.
I don't even know if I do. I don't even think I even have it, but somebody I'm sure has it. The studio, where we did all that, probably has a copy of the original version of it. Yeah, that'd be cool if we could get a hold of that, because I think the fans would really appreciate it. It has a more death metal feel to it than what came out.
I understand that. And speaking of more death metal, man, I was was it 22 years ago you did the Vital Remains? Those two records, those two records with Vital Remains. You Christianized. That was. I remember when that came out, you toured so much with that. Everybody was like, "Wait a minute, is Deicide done?" Like, no, he's still doing both, but that hit at the right time.
Yeah, I just did a couple tours with them. One by myself with them, and then I did one where I had them we opened for. I did a 2-set night. I tried that, and that was insane. And that was really it, man. I didn't tour anymore with them than that. And Dave left the band, and I got out of there too, man. So
yeah, I wish Dave would do more. I know I forgot the name of his current band he's doing, but man, he wrote some, and he worked with you. I guess he played with you for a while too.
Man, I've offered that guy the gig more times than I can count, man. And like I say, he doesn't think he can do it, play like that, because he injured his hand years ago, and he doesn't think he can play that. Like, he can't league play like he used to. So that was what I was told, but I don't know. Like I say, man, I mean, he plays in his other band and stuff like that. And you know what, man? Like I say, right now, man, I've never been happier with the guitar situation. But no, man, Dave's a good guy.
Yeah, man. It's like I think it's like those records. It was just really weird seeing you not playing bass. That was kind of I was like, you're just standing up there and it's like cool armor.
Yeah, it was something different, man. The whole thing with them previous guitar players was coming to a head, and I just didn't want to be around that whole scene anymore. So I started doing that as a way to stay the fuck away from them. And it worked out well, and I had a good time doing it. And yeah, I mean, I didn't see, too much return on my investment, but it was a good time.
Yeah, like those songs still, some things sound dated. That doesn't.
No, man, like I say, I listen to it every so often. I'll listen to The Christianized. I wasn't a fan of the second record, but the first one was. The songs, Dave put a lot, Dave wrote, a lot for that. I mean, that was, mostly David. And that, man, it was a great record. And I'm not a huge fan of 15-minute songs myself, but yeah, I mean, it works for what that is.
Yeah, those are songs of endurance if you're the drummer.
Yeah, and I'm just like I say, I have a thing with redundancy and shit, man. I have a problem with it, and after a song has reached three, I mean, especially metal or punk and shit like that, where I come from, and anything after 3.5 minutes, man, four at the max, you're stretching it, man. As far as keeping a person's keeping a person from not turning around and heading towards the bar. You know what I mean? And I want to keep people's attention, man. When you play really long songs, man, people get you just kind of lose people after a while. It's kind of like me going and looking at watching one of these guitar god guys that plays just nothing but leads the whole show. I can't, 10 minutes of that and I'm heading to the bar.
I get that. It's like, oh, cool. It's nice you could do all that wanky fancy shit.
I can only handle about 45 seconds worth of sweeps. And then I started drifting off, man. You know what I mean? So,
it better be mixed with some really cool. And normally you see those guitar guys and it's just them with backing tracks the whole time. Rarely do you see them with a full band.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like going down to the Ramada Inn on the beach, and you got this dude. He's got his little PA set up and his little sampler thing set up, and he's got his acoustic, his 1986 Ovation guitar, and he's going through all the classics. Drum machine clicking away, and yeah, you get the maracas tuned in. You got everybody all just chimed up, playing along to it.
Dude, yeah. But man, you got that, like you said it yourself, man. The don't give a shit attitude. Just it's you can tell, you could definitely hear the fun you guys are having on this record.
We didn't, you know what, man? The way we approached it, brother, is I'm telling you, the way we approached it is that we didn't have a record contract. You know what I mean? So we wrote it felt like the first, for the first, I've been under contract since I was 22 years old. And it was the first time that I felt like I did, I felt like we did when we wrote the first record. It was like there was no rush, no deadlines, no one breathing over your shoulder. You know what I mean? It was like we're just doing it for just having fun. You know what I mean? Just putting songs together and not really thinking of the future of it or anything, but just the present. Enjoying what we were putting together. You know what I mean? It was kind of like no hassle, no pressure, no, you know what I mean? It's kind of like freedom with it,
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and that gives it, yeah, it gives it that freedom, and it makes it more genuine because it's like, oh, you have so you have your whole life to make your first record, like we said earlier. And so it's like you kind of have you know what? Nope. Nobody is like, we need this now. This is what's popular right now. We need you to kind of get to this so we can make more money. And it's like, nah, whatever. What do you feel? What do you feel like playing? It's like, I like that. I don't. How about this one? This one sounds great. Let's do that. Is this, what's the word? Collaboration. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to do. Working with four minds is, it's a relationship. You and Steve.
Good.
It's like you and Steve have been in this musical relationship for forever at this point, and Kevin and Taylor fits right in. It's like he just kind of he found us. He fits. He sounds natural. I think that's the right way to say it. He sounds like he's always been there.
Right. Exactly. And I can tell you, man, what he does. What he brought to the table this time, and this is how he's. I mean, everybody's. Level of professionalism, man. He went and took and recorded when we were playing live. He recorded Steve and went and wrote riffs to Steve's actual beats. You know what I mean? And in the vein of Steve's playing in that, he wrote his songs. All right, so they sound more like Deicide songs. So when you listen to Taylor songs, that's why they got that Deicide vibe to them, because he's actually wrote those songs to Steve's playing.
That's genius. Damn.
Yeah, dude. he's incredible, bro. I mean, he's incredible.
Shit, now I want 3 more records with this
Like I said,
lineup.
man, we're lucky to have him. Yeah, man. I mean, we're like I say, we went through. I mean, once we, Chris got out of the way, and when his thing and Taylor came in, and that we really got to work fast, man, on getting things wrapped up with the Legion set and with the new, with the materials me, Steve, and Kevin had our material already, so we just brought, when Taylor came in and that, we got his songs, straightened away, and we were ready, man. You know what I mean? We were ready quick. I mean, we had not only were we blowing through that Legion set like it was nobody's business, but we were, knocking out the album set too, right behind it.
Right on. After this album comes out, I'm guessing we'll be seeing you down on the road at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the U.S. September, October, in U.S. and Canada, and then we're gonna be in Europe this summer for the festivals, and then we're gonna be in Europe for a full length tour in April 25.
Right.
So, and then we're gonna be in South America at the big Chile festival in Chile, and doing a few shows in I think Argentina and Brazil and that in November. So we got a full boat, man.
Nice. Now, like just before, could you since you mentioned earlier about your other, like your other vocal stylings that you do that don't show up in the metal world, like, do you do other things outside, like, hey, here's my non-metal stuff, or do you just,
No, I mean, like I said, I just have a range, man, where I can do opera and I can do really falsetto. I can do a lot of stuff, man. Yeah. I can sound like Pavarotti 1 second, and the next minute sound like one of the Bee Gees, bro. Okay, I mean, I have that range with my voice.
Nice. I would love to hear the song that you could pull out either or one of those. I don't know who can write it. Somebody needs to write that song just so we can hear. Like,
I was huge into like I say, impersonating people when I was younger, and that, you know what I mean. So I mean, for me, my inspiration, vocal inspirations were obviously Ronnie James Dio and Voodoo from Accept, and those were the kind of people, Bon Scott, man. Those were the guys that I was, those are the vocalists for me.
Yeah, man. Like I appreciate, as much as I love a nice good growl, but man, like something about like those falsetto notes and those just a long sustain. It's like, wow.
Dude, I can do all that. I can impersonate a lot of those falsetto singers out there, and yeah, we had a good time in the studio, man, because I was able to, goof around and do some stuff. We have some, some stuff we might put to as bonus, outtake shit and that. But I did like I think it was in Kevin's song "Sever the Tongue." I was like singing some of the parts in an operatic voice, and everybody was just cracking the fuck up.
Awesome, man. Like I guess next time you're in New York, I was like, there's time. I was like, yo, find you a karaoke bar. We're going. Or catch you one of those metal cruises. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, man. I can say my voice has been through the ringer, man. Everybody asks me like, why? It's like it sounds like it's getting heavier as you get older. And I mean, I'm not Steve Perry, man. You know what I mean? It's like what I do is an ugly form of music to begin with, and so the older and uglier I get, the better it gets, I guess.
I get you, man. Dude, man. Like I it's like, dude, I really appreciate your time, man. It's been cool to like really have a chat with you, because it's been a minute since I've seen you like in person, besides live, and actually got a chance to speak to you. It's really cool, man. Like, even, dude, it's like, I love the cover. Some people are bitching about the cover. I think the cover's cool.
You know what, man? People don't understand. It's like, listen, man. This is the third album cover I've designed on my computer. All right. And everything has a purpose, and people just don't understand. It's like album artwork is, conceptual and and it's art form, and what I want, is like, like the new record speaks of a modern age of deicide, and I wanted something that was more modernized, that went with it, like going into the 2025. It's more of a modern approach on things, and I don't give a fuck what people think, man. It's really, I just don't give a shit if you like it or not. You know what I mean? It's like, who am I? I mean, the only people that I find so far that I'm offended are these the artists that, draw penises in men's bathrooms and, draw shit in dressing rooms and shit. I'm not into scribble art, and that's who I keep hearing a lot from is these guys that design band logos that you can't read and shit like that. I could give two fucks here about your opinion. You know what I mean? It's like the guy that designed the artwork is an actual real artist. He lives in the same village as H.R. Geiger was from. I mean, he's an actual real artist, not one of you, online degree artist. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I love it. We love it. You should see the backdrops; they're incredible.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like it's, I feel like that would be a good poster. Just throwing that out there, and also like I'm a big fan of like the In the Minds cover, like In the Mind, like that to me that's a beautiful painting.
I took a lot of shit for that one too, man. You know what? It's like it's called controversial. It's like stop crying. You know what I mean?
Like yeah, keep talking about me. Go ahead. It's only helping.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like, don't you understand how this works? Bad press is good press, or
I'm like, well,
you
you're
don't understand how it works, and it's like I just suck them all in like a vacuum cleaner. Yeah,
and you're sitting over there like, gotcha, motherfucker.
yeah, it's like a turkey shoot, man. It's like just picking one off after another. It's great. It's like, you know what? Go wash that blue dye out of your hair. You know what I mean? If you say the only person you should be expressing your opinion to is your mom and the way she folds your clothes or makes her meatloaf. It's like, your opinion is worthless here.
For real, man. And that's one to grow on with Glenn Benton. Sir, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for this time. I really appreciate you and your time. When you get up to New York, I'll definitely be saying hi.
Sweet. Awesome. See you soon, buddy.